Next month, London decides who makes the key decisions in the capital, as a speculated 2.5 million people will register their vote to choose the new mayor for London. Of those who place their vote, however, young Londoners are expected to be in the minority.
It's mainly known as mainly with the adults. I would say young people just ain't really interested because they think it wouldn't make a difference to them anyway, because no one really takes notice of them.
With all government politicians, they're all lying away. So what they say doesn't really make any sense what they say. They're all going to do the opposite.
I said I'd never vote Lib Dem, and I think Ken and Boris split fine hairs, and I've just sort of a cynic that they're all pretty much the same to me. I don't think they help ordinary Londoners.
Youth disengagement is a major problem in the UK, with only 1/3 of young people voting in general elections on average. Statistics predict that this turnout will be even lower for the mayoral elections.
Young people aren't disengaged from politics itself. What they're really disengaged from is the formal political processes that most of us think of as politics. So things like voting, things like what happens in Parliament, contacting MPs, councillors, etc. Young people don't vote because they don't see why they would vote, because the policies are not really aimed at them. And politicians and political parties are less likely to go after their vote.
Widespread distrust in politicians and a lack of education have led to political disengagement amongst young people, with some resorting to violence and hooliganism as they struggle to make their voices heard.
They're not represented, they have no role models out there. They need to engage in political activities. In my talking to youngsters, it's like, oh, they don't know nothing, they can't do nothing, they're useless, nobody knows, they're a waste of time. So they just don't bother. But they don't realise that they have to make that choice so that they can make the difference, so that the politicians do listen.
The scale of this problem is so great that a large number of charities and pressure groups are set up in the capital, designed to help integrate young people into the political system. The largest is Bite the Ballot, which set up 2 years ago.
Bite the Ballot, what are we trying to do? It's trying to get young people involved in politics. You know, not only sort of discussing it here tonight, but encouraging other youngsters to become involved in the democratic process. And if you're of age, also to register to vote.
We meet a lot of people that say, oh, I talk to young people, and we always say, well, we listen. There is a huge difference. So for us, I think it's just about trying to ignite that flame. We're all passionate about issues, but sadly the word politics is a bore because of what's happened in the political world. It's not interesting for young people. The language used isn't one that they use. So we're trying to come in and do it in an unconventional way, just try and make it as engaging as possible, but let them truly believe that their opinions matter just as much as everyone else's, because they do.
Bite the Ballot hold debates and registration rallies in schools across the UK to get young people more involved in politics.
I felt like I could never express myself, never tell people what I thought about my own opinion. I find it really useful. It makes me feel like that I am available. I'm not isolated from politics. I can speak my mind. Although I might have a very strong opinion, I feel like I can express it, and I might get negative replies back, but I feel like people should listen and people should understand my view and my opinions.
I think young people tend not to get involved in politics because they don't understand it. Like, coming here today, I wasn't really that interested in what people had to say in like politics, and I would think it's more for older people to have a say, because normally you don't see young people on TV having a go of what they actually feel about things. And I think it's good that things like this happen, that you get different views of what other people think. Like right now I've got like a different perspective of what other people think about different things, and I think that's really good.
They have inspired other charities to work alongside them to run an event for the mayoral elections, which encourages young people to register and get involved with the mayoral candidates.
So the main aim for the registration event at the Ministry of Sound is to get as many young people as possible to come to the ministry, mingle with lots of different other young people from in and around London, and find out a little bit more about the impact they can make.
We need young people to be voting so that we get the right mayor for them, for the whole of the community of London, because at the moment there isn't a representation, because a lot of people that should be voting just can't be bothered or are not inspired by what they're seeing in politics. So we want to make sure young people specifically are inspired by politics, understand how it affects their lives, and get out to the elections and vote.
Once people have left school, however, they are much harder to reach. Catch-21 is a production company that utilises the internet to inform young people about politics.
Traditionally, politicians have communicated with voters through newspaper articles or sort of writing letters, which, let's face it, isn't the way to contact young people. But through production of videos such as Catch's QMP, where we get a young person to throw questions to the MP, short 5-minute video, and those questions get broadcast. We spread those through social media, and we find that people really respond to that.
The group produce videos featuring political figures which are publicised online through Facebook and Twitter, so young people are more able to access them. The programmes allow young people to question MPs about issues which matter to them, often changing their minds about voting.
I think it made me more aware of the London Mayoral Elections. I've only just moved to London, so it's something that I hadn't really even thought about before. So being involved in this has made me think about who I want to vote for and what my options are.
The groups are passionate about getting young people more involved in politics, but they know they can only do so much without the support of the government.
Young people have never been particularly interested in politics, and it has always been thus. I think it's just one of those things that will continue forever, that youngsters perhaps are not particularly interested in politics. And in many respects, nor should they be. You know, at the age of 18, many people have other issues that they are more concerned about.
One of the main barriers to engaging young people is that members of Parliament don't seem to view disengagement as a problem.
If you want to be an MP, you're representing the people of all ages, not just the people that are voting at the minute. People care, they just don't associate the things they care about with the word politics, and that is where Parliament has to take responsibility, because they've not made it accessible to everyone.
Without the necessary attention from those able to make a change, there are fears that young people will never become re-engaged with the political system, leading to disengagement through all generations of voters.
So we've been looking at different age groups and their political attitudes for quite a long time, and we're now trying to figure out whether the younger age groups, so the 18 to 24s, will actually change, and whether their political participation will change over time, or whether that generation is going to have particularly low political participation, knowledge, interest compared to previous generations. I think it's really something to be seen, but it's also something that politicians and political parties can